Okay, people, this is Thunder here. Thunder of the desert, Lawrence of Arabia, thunder of the dunes. Um, I love it here, actually. It is a bit warm, though. It's like 110, 111 degrees. Uh, Probably 80 degrees in the shade. It gets 80 degrees at night. We had a power outage. Whoopee! Man, if this doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. Incidentally, this beam right here, that's a laser sight. Somebody's focusing. No, just kidding. Um, it's a refraction, light refraction. So bear with it. Uh, it's late at night, and that's par for the course for late at night. So, um, anyway, let's talk about some shit, low frequency shit. Um, let's talk about how the world conditions right now are a recipe for disaster. Let's talk about how we're on the brink of annihilation. Let's talk about um, the world situation and how fucked up it is. Um, I told you I was going to lower my frequency, and I meant it. So, what's going on, people? Oh, we got the Brexit, the British exit from the EU. Well, that's the beginning of the end. Of course, I've said that before. Thought things were getting critical, and what happens? But the stock market did go down to 700. Crashed, basically. Went to 700. Down, which is an earmark of collapse. Of course, they tried to pump it up, back up, and they will pump it back up, but it's happening all around the world now, and their little EU club, okay, that they got going, isn't working out quite like they thought it would. It isn't working out. So the EU is starting to split up, just like the beast in the Bible. No, I'm not a Christian, but just like the beast that throws the harlot off its back. That's what's happening here. The harlot being the West and NATO and the deep state and the Illuminati, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I call them psychopathic dreamers, because they dream on and on about what they think this world's going to be, and I got news for them. It ain't going to be that, baby. It's pretty bad out there, and so now with this exit from the British exit from the EU, that's the beginning of the end, because all kinds of other nations are going to follow suit, and they're going to exit from the EU, and pretty soon there's going to be no more EU. The only ones that aren't in the EU are Russia and China and some other countries. Don't know what they are, but the two biggies are Russia and China. They don't want to have any part of it. The EU got it all bent out of shape anyway. That's not what the European Union was initially, and NATO and all that stuff was initially set up to be some kind of relief effort and protection after World War II. But they changed it into a basically a terrorist cooperation of nations, imposing, and the West imposes its will through the EU on all these European nations. Like, say, sanctions against Russia, that type thing. So, that's collapsing, people, and when that starts collapsing, that's the end game. It's the end game. It means America and NATO is weakening. And when they weaken and they get backed into a corner, guess what they're going to do? They're going to start a horrific fucking war. Okay? And they might just try to take everybody down with them. They're losing control. The reins of power are being taken from their hands as we speak. Now, is it going to happen overnight? Well, no, probably not, but it could, because look at how quick this happened. So you better have your shit together, people, and be prepared for any event, and that was a black swan event. And when you see the stock market dive down to 700, minus 700, that's huge. Okay, I don't care how anybody tries to spin it, or because you know the plunge protection team was in there trying to pump it back up. And if they couldn't get it back up to at least 300 under, then you know it's bad. And it's happening all around the world. And just like Thunder said, civilizations do collapse. And the world is a civilization now. Get it? And if you don't get it, you better start getting it. So we might see a big emergence, is the hope you would say, into a new world. Another, because when it starts getting this bad, they will resort to desperate measures. And by desperate, I mean some type of horrific event they will create so that they can blame whatever's going on, whatever the problem is, like complete failure of the financial system worldwide, on somebody. Now, they're already blaming this exit from the EU by Britain on Russia. And Russia never said a damn thing about it. They just stood there and went, well, whatever they want to do. Well, what do? Now the NATO and the EU and the leaders are trying to blame it on Russia. Why? Because they want to start a fucking war. They're maniacs. They're psychotic freakos, weirdos. They're not spiritual in any way. They're not really even that fucking smart. Okay? So this is what we have to contend with, people. A bunch of, ex-college fraternity, highbrow bullshit people running the country that belong to like Skull and Bones Society and stuff like that. And boy, do they think they're cool. Somehow they think they're going to survive and live in a bunker or something. I don't know what they think, but it ain't going to happen. So you have to realize that we're living in perilous times. What the EU is doing, pushing against Russia, putting troops on the border. All the countries that are surrounding Russia, they're lining it up with troops. That'd be like Russia coming here in America and putting troops in Mexico and Canada on the border. You think America would get a little bit nervous? So they're pushing Russia and they're pushing China. And it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for freaking disaster. Because you don't push around countries like Russia and China. They're not like little countries like Libya. And not that Libya was that small, but I'm saying they're not countries you can push around. Let's put it that way. They're huge. And they have technology that is way beyond America's technology with aircraft, because I know I'm a pilot, aircraft, aviation, space technology. Shit, they got a rocket they can shoot into outer space and it'll get into orbit and fire off 10 fucking warheads. Hello? And nothing can stop them because they zigzag and weave down and, hello? So, This is where we are, people. This is everything that the West is doing in Syria and Ukraine, pushing on Russia, trying to start a fight in the South China Sea. It's a recipe for disaster. In all these events that are happening, all the events that are happening right now, have been going on so long and building up to this high fever pitch that there's not really anywhere that the events can go. It's like when water's running down and it gets into a low place and there's a dam there. Okay. There's no place for it to go. What happens? It fills up and fills up until the dam breaks. And that's exactly what the shit is going to happen. But hey, if everybody wants to just live in the status quo and not, it's kind of too late already. I mean, so I might not even waste my breath with it, with thumping on the issue of how people are a bunch of freaking wimps. Okay. They're living in la la land. They're going to Starbucks and having their lattes and, watching their football games on Monday Night Football or whatever. They still have that? I don't know. But we're in serious trouble here. And Thunder knows, because I have my own intel base and I follow everything, every news alternative. I go to alternative sources. I sure as hell don't go to the main scum media. But everybody's living in la la land. Everybody's going to Starbucks. Everybody's having their lattes. Everybody's talking on their iPhones. Everybody's thinking about their relationships and stuff like that. Wake up, people. Party's over. Party's over. It's time to put up or shut up. I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I might even just Thunder's kind of gone into seclusion, right? Taking a little break here. Wrong. Try to take a break in this world. I've got a lot of things I'm doing still with people and events and people calling me and asking for advice, which is good. I like that. I'm always ready to do that. And other things happening like breakdowns in power structures. See, I just got a taste of what it's going to be like when I had that power outage here. That was a taste of what it's going to be like for everybody. I mean, I don't care where you are. Like, I happen to be in the desert. I happen to have not covered that base, although it wasn't entirely within my control because I'm living on my sister's ranch. But now there's a generator, a backup generator coming in. I mean, a big industrial backup generator that runs on propane. And with a huge propane tank. So if the grid goes down, we're going to be okay. But that ain't going to be that's not going to be the normality for people that live in the city. When the grid goes down, you ain't going to be able to kick on a generator and have water because we got a well here, but in the city, that's all city utilities, and that goes down, you're going to turn on the spigot and there ain't going to be nothing there. There's going to be no food on the shelves. There could be a bail-in. This is a pretty critical weekend, actually, because of this stock market crash around the world. So it'll be interesting to see what Monday brings. It'll be interesting to see what Monday brings, which way this thing's going to go. Because It shook a lot of people to their core, especially the elite. Oh man, they were counting on it going the other way, and how they didn't fix it like they do everything. Maybe they just couldn't get in there in time, or maybe there was too many people, but it went south on them. So they're sitting ducks now, and they're liable to get their asses waxed. Okay. So that's the fun stuff that's going on in the universe and in the world. Thunder usually talks about things like meditation and things of that nature. But sometimes I do lower my frequency and I just get down to the nitty gritty, into my warrior self. Because I'm not one of these persons that walks around with their heads in the sand, sticking their heads in the sand like an ostrich, pretending like things don't exist. So anyway, people, it's just a quick update about Thunder, what's going on in his life, and quick comment on world events. And then I'm gonna fade back into the woodwork now. Okay, so that's it for this time. I'm Thunder. I'm out of here. Adios.